If you're looking to get into the Pokemon trading card game, one of the best first investments you can make is picking up a League Battle deck. These are widely available in stores that sell Pokemon trading card game products, and you are getting a pre-made deck that is built for competitive play in mind. You're getting better trainer cards, a better split of energy, you're getting more ultra rare cards, and these are some of the best pre-made decks that you can get anywhere. I happen to own a whole bunch of them, and I wanted to rank them all from worst to best in this conversation right now. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jet from inthirdperson.com, personal look at video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's rank these League Battle decks from worst to best. Now, some ground rules. I need to clarify what a League Battle deck is. So for example, if you're looking for the Blastoise deck, this is a V Battle deck and not a League Battle deck. These are not going to be on this list. If you're looking for the old style theme decks like this Charizard one, these aren't going to be on the list. These are more beginner level products that are not really meant for competitive play. And I'm also not talking about the pre-Sword and Shield League Battle deck. So, for example, the Zacian League Battle deck, which I do have, and I took all the cards and made a new deck out of it. I've never actually played with this. I know it's got ADP in it, but we won't be talking about this one. We'll be talking about the Sword and Shield decks, pretty much everything from the Inteleon League Battle deck all the way up to the Calyrex decks and even the Mew VMAX deck, which as of the recording of this video isn't even out yet. I do have the cards for the Mew deck online, and I have played that version of the deck, so I think I have enough information to rank it relative to the other decks as well. Some other things, I'm going to rank them based on three factors. Like 1, how strong is the deck out of the box? 2, how strong is the deck once you reach its full potential by getting any sort of cards left over that would make that deck work its best? And 3, rotation. So at the time of this recording, rotation is coming in a couple of months, early 2023, and some of these products will be impacted to varying degrees by rotation, some of which are pretty much irrelevant and aren't worth buying once rotation hits. So I do want to keep that in mind as I rank these as well. All right, from worst to best, at the bottom of my ranking is the Inteleon League Battle deck. This is actually, it's kind of sad because this is the first one that I bought, and for the time of its release, it was fine. You got 2 Inteleon V's, VMAXs that hit for 160 and then did damage to the bench as well. 60 to the bench, I believe. And it does have the Shady Dealings engine, which is, as everybody knows, is, well, not everybody, but it is pretty much the best support engine in the entire game right now. However, this deck is the oldest one on this list, and when rotation happens early next year, pretty much all of this deck is going to be obsolete. And so unless you're buying it like at the time of this recording, most of this isn't going to be eligible for standard play. And there are other decks with the Inteleon engine in this ranking that are better built for post-rotation and are stronger overall. So this one is at the bottom of the list, unfortunately. And the other part is, in terms of the Shady Dealings engine, this League Battle deck doesn't have all of the cards you would need. Like, for example, it only has 2 Drizziles in it when you really need 4. So all of that considered, I would avoid picking up the Inteleon VMAX League Battle deck at this point. I should also mention, this is all relative to standard play. I can't speak to expanded at all. I don't play expanded. All right, with that being said, next on the list, so second worst is the Single Strike Urshifu League Battle deck. This one, I think for a time, Single Strike Urshifu kind of had a place in the meta. It has this big move, Gmax 1 blow, which does 270 damage, and you discard all of your single strike energy. And with the single strike energy attached, you can pretty much one-hit KO anything in the game. However, the the awkwardness of the deck, like having to use the Houndooms to attach energy, and then you discard the energy, and then you have to find fog crystals to then reattach the energy. It was kind of clunky to begin with, and it's only gotten worse as V-Stars have entered the meta. It was kind of okay to use Urshifu to, land that Gmax one blow and take 3 prizes, but if you have to exert that type of effort and only get 2 prizes knocking out a V-Star, and now you have to reload 3 times, it's just not worth it. And then on top of that, I guess the support engine you get in this is Oran Guru, which is fine, but that's also rotating out soon. The saving grace of this deck would be that it's a little more rotation safe than Inteleon. The Urshifus will be fine going forward. The Houndooms will be fine going forward. Some of the single strike cards will be fine. A lot of the trainers won't be, though, and it's just not the strongest in the meta right now. It certainly had a time at its peak last year when it was doing really well paired with Umbreon, but because the V-Star meta shift and they drop 3 prizes, this just kind of isn't working right now. Maybe at some point they will introduce some single strike V-Star Pokemon that might make this a little more worthwhile, but at this point in time, I would advise against picking this one up. All right, doing better than the single strike, but still kind of a curious pick. Not sure if you want to go out to the store to get this one at this point. It is the Rapid Strike Urshifu League Battle deck. Now, Rapid Strike Urshifu's kind of been in a weird place. It has times where it is the best deck in the game. It has other times where it's completely unplayable. Right now, it's kind of fallen by the wayside again, though. It did get top 2 in I believe it was the Seniors World Championships. Like, there are ways to make Urshifu work if you really want to hustle. I think the challenge with the Urshifu deck is that it doesn't have the engine that you really want. It has the Chinchino engine, which it's okay, but it's not as good. It doesn't synergize as well as Shady Dealings does with, the Rapid Strike Urshifu deck. And then on top of that, you're a little short on Urshifu's. It's 2/2 line, which is fine. You get the Octilleries and the Rapid Strike energy. Not having Shady Dealings is kind of a problem. And Urshifu's place in the meta is just a little weird with Manaphy blocking bench damage and all of that type of stuff. Like, Urshifu as a Pokemon can still be really good, but you would have to heavily rework this deck to make it work in the immediate term. And I'm not quite sure how this would work post rotation. So lots of question marks on this. If you really like Urshifu and you're willing to put in the work, you're going to have to heavily rework this deck. It might actually just be better to buy the singles for Urshifu instead. So it's the next one up on this list. Like, it's better than the single strike Urshifu, better than the Inteleon deck, but this one is not as easy to recommend as it once was. All right, moving into the top 3 League Battle decks, and next on my list is the Shadow Rider Calyrex League Battle deck. These were the most recent releases along with Ice Rider Calyrex, and the Shadow Rider deck is one of my favorites in the game. It has this amazing ability, Underworld Door, which allows you to attach an energy, draw a couple cards, and then you can chain that between your Shadow Riders, attach a billion energy on the board, and just one-hit KO anything if the combo works out. It's also got some really good support Pokemon in there from Cresselia that's great for attaching energy to Shadow Rider on turn 1 going second. It's also got the Articunos, which are great for sniping or accelerating really quickly. And this deck is a lot of fun to play, and it can be pretty strong. The big problem is that Path to the Peak, which is a stadium that turns off abilities on Rulebox Pokemon, is very popular in the format right now, and it hurts the Calyrex deck really bad. And on top of that, you might be in the crosshairs of players teching for Mew, which is also Psychic type, and Shadow Rider is an even bigger victim to those than Mew VMAX. That being said, is this a deck worth picking up? I think so. I think you can pick up this deck, do pretty well on the ladder. It's fairly rotation safe. There will be a couple of cards here and there, like Quick Balls and Marnies, that rotate out, but the core of this deck is going to be rotation safe. It's a ton of fun to play. It's pretty strong as well. So yeah, I would recommend picking this one up. And next on the list, this one might be a controversial take depending on how you see things and what things you value, especially if we're talking about pre-rotation versus post-rotation. But next on my list is the Mew VMAX League Battle Deck. Now, hear me out on this. Mew VMAX is an incredibly strong deck in competitive play. It has been since it dominated the Fusion Strike era of the game, and even in the Brilliant Stars and Astral Radiance eras of the game, Mew was always a solid contender. It got top 8 at Worlds this year, and the version of the deck that you're getting in the League Battle deck is only 17 cards away from being that version of the deck that got top 8 at Worlds. So it's pretty crazy value there, having all of these amazing cards in one deck. The problem with this deck in the immediate term is that those 17 cards really matter. You're short 2 Genesects, you're short 1 or 2 Mew VMAXs, or 1 or 2 Mew VMAXs, short 2 Mew Vs, and some of the trainer cards and the energy splits are a little weird. You can play this deck straight up, have a good time, and probably do really well on the ladder, but if you're planning on playing this at local tournaments and stuff, you're probably gonna have a challenge until you grab the cards that help this deck to become the absolute monster that it can be. That being said, this is a deck that is tuned for post-rotation, so you will not have to worry about this going obsolete at all in the next year, and I think post-rotation, this will be the best League Battle deck to pick up. But for the time being, at the time of this recording, I think Mew is a solid number 2, which means the number 1 League Battle deck right now is the Ice Rider Calyrex League Battle deck. And I say this because this is probably the most complete deck that you can get out of these League Battle decks. All of these decks, I mean, even the Shadow Rider one to a certain extent, you could use a couple cards here and there, but the Ice Rider deck is pretty much a competitive / tournament grade card or deck out of the box. Really, you could get away with just putting in 2 choice belts and you're good. And what makes the Ice Rider deck so crazy, and Ice Rider in particular, is that Ice Rider with a choice belt hits for 280 damage, which is the magic number to knock out any Pokemon V-Star in the game. And that allows Ice Rider to take out 2 V-Stars before they can take out 1 Ice Rider VMAX. And because of that discrepancy, like because it hits those magic numbers, Ice Rider is going to be a problem in the meta for the foreseeable future. We'll see what happens when EX Pokemon come out, but being able to hit 250 without a choice belt, 280 with a choice belt on Pokemon V is going to make it an incredibly strong contender. On top of that, you also get the Shady Dealings engine, and unlike the Inteleon deck, you're getting all of the cards you would want for Shady Dealings, and then some. You're getting 4 Sobbles, 4 Drizziles, and then 2 of each Inteleon, which is amazing. And because of that, you're going to be able to command the battlefield with this deck right out of the box and have an amazing time. That being said, when rotation hits, this deck is going to be hurt more than the Shadow Rider deck because you're going to be losing all of the Shady Dealing stuff. And that's going to be a problem. However, there are versions of the Ice Rider deck that are already out now that look very strong even without Shady Dealings. If you're able to get Palkia, and I know Palkia is really expensive right now, but it's a crazy OP Pokemon. And if you're able to pair that with a Bibarel engine, for example, that deck is already good right now, and it's rotation safe. and you can use this post rotation as the foundation for your Ice Rider, Palkia, Beeperl deck going forward. Maybe there'll be another engine that supports this deck going forward, but I think pre-rotation, this is the best League Battle deck you can get right now. All right, that is my rankings for the League Battle decks from best to worst. Congratulations to Ice Rider for being best in show pre-rotation. Post-rotation, it's going to be the Mew League Battle deck. But I think we'll do another one of these when the next deck gets revealed. And I know like they just revealed the Mew, the Mew one, and we're probably not going to hear about the next League Battle decks until probably next year. But I think this is something we'll keep up with so that you have an ongoing reference for what League Battle decks are worth picking up and which ones aren't. So Cole's notes, if you've watched this far, the ones that I'd say are worth buying are Ice Rider, Mew, Shadow Rider. Question mark on whether you can get Urshifu, you should get Urshifu or not. Really depends on how much you like Urshifu and how much you're willing to get the cards, the extra cards needed to round out this deck. And I would not recommend getting single Strike Urshifu or Inteleon at this point in time. Oh, sorry about that. All right, it is time to get... Actually, can I shout out one last thing? Another thing, if you're looking to get into more competitive play, whether that's PTCGO or playing at local tournaments, one last investment you can make. I swear I'm not a shill. The Pokemon Trainers Toolkit. This is a box that I picked up recently that comes with dozens of copies of pretty much the best trainer cards that you'd want. It also comes with 2 Lumineon V, comes with some booster packs, sleeves, pretty much everything you'd want to get started. So if you were to get, for example, one of these League Battle decks and one of these toolkits, oh, you're golden. Absolutely golden. All right. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching the video. How would you rank the League Battle decks? Let me know in the comments. And if you've got any of these League Battle decks, would absolutely love to hear about your experiences with them. And so before we go, couple quick plugs. Make sure to follow, like the video if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also find me on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram at In Third Person. I swiped a little too late there. I also stream on Twitch over at In Third Person. I stream Pokemon TCG every Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Would love to see you there, hang out with you, answer any questions you may have about the game. And of course, check out the website, inthirdperson.com, for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. All right, time to get out of here, homies. I'll see you on the next one. Later.